You expected a cold open, but...
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition!
I expected this movie to be more of a linear journey as opposed to being set in one primary location. The title, Spirited Away, might indicate that. I thought Yubaba was going to send Chihiro on a journey and that No-Face was going to be her guide, so to speak. Apologies that makes absolutely no sense if you haven't seen the movie, but I have to assume that most of you haven't. Once again, there is way too much in here to delve into the details of it. So I will just attempt to kind of give you a general sense of what all goes on. So the main character, Chihiro, and her parents find themselves accidentally onto the grounds of a spirit bathhouse. Now, her parents are Pinocchio'd into a couple of pigs and she is able to escape. She finds a spirit Haku who is basically just a human all the time, even though he turns out to be this magical dragon at the end. But he is able to get her a job at the spirit bathhouse. The manager of the bathhouse is this witch Yubaba, who is given this kind of terrible and all-powerful presence in the movie, but most of the time she's actually fairly incompetent. So all sorts of things are happening at this bathhouse. You've got this mud spirit that shows up and wants a bath. You've got this mysterious No-Face that comes in and starts causing problems. He eventually turns out to be friendly, but there's this period in between where he kind of goes crazy for a little bit before coming back to being normal. At the end of the movie, all kinds of things are happening at once. Chihiro rescues Haku from some mortal injuries. She goes and takes No-Face to visit Yubaba's sister, whose name I can't remember, to her cottage off in the woods. She leaves No-Face there so that he can learn peace and stuff. And then she comes back to the bathhouse to pass one final test and rescue her parents from their eternal doom of pigdom. The absolute creativity and ridiculousness of this film was amazing. Animations always have that power of being able to do whatever the heck they want, and this movie takes full advantage of that. Just the variety and ridiculousness of all these different spirits, all these new characters that you're meeting, is just such a joy to watch. The music and theme of the movie wasn't anything striking, but it was definitely memorable and pleasant, and it perfectly matched the visuals and the theme of what you were seeing. But just like my plot synopsis and the actual characters in the story themselves, the plot was a little random at times, and it didn't always feel like it was that it was building upon itself and towards something. There were times I would notice some little detail and think to myself, that's important, that's going to come back later and be explained. But oftentimes it wasn't, and a lot of that world building didn't really feel cohesive. Chihiro's overall goal of unpigging her parents and gaining some fortitude and losing her fear, that's one goal is achieved at the end, but a whole lot of the movie isn't really related to that central character arc. And the final score is an 8. This is a great movie. The reason I have it at an 8 instead of a 9 is just because of the randomness of the story, but some might say that was the point, so it's I'm not going to take too much off, but it was a great movie, just wonderful animation. So we are finally done with the roaring 20s of the best movies of all time. The next movie is square in the middle of the 30s, number 33, the 33rd best movie of all time, Harakiri. We are staying in Japan. I've never heard of this movie. I know absolutely nothing about it. So what's new? Try that again. That was wet. It's very hot in here. Very sweaty, because I had to turn the fan off because of the audio.